then 1.6 over here, a theory question says a car moves at a constant velocity, so there's no acceleration, towards a learner, who is standing on the side of the road. The driver hoots as the car moves towards the learner. Once again, they're using capital letters to tell us the direction. So it says which of the following statements is correct, and they are all quite similar, so we're going to read through these ones instead of just jumping to the answer. But what it says is A, the speed of the sound heard by the learner is higher than the speed of the sound emitted by the hooter. Okay, that might sound right, but the wrong word over here is the speed of the sound, because ultimately it's still traveling in air, so the speed of sound stays the same, and we are not hearing the speed. We are hearing something else, which we'll see. So A is out. B says the wavelength of the sound heard by the learner is higher than the wavelength of the sound emitted by the hooter. Once again, that is wrong, because we do not hear wavelength either. We don't hear speed of the sound, we don't hear the wavelength, but we do hear the frequency. C is the correct answer, because the frequency of the sound heard by the learner is higher than the frequency of the sound emitted, which means that it is emitting a sound of 1000 hertz, for example, as it hoots moving towards the learner. But as the sound waves are moving, they're getting more and more condensed because the car has a constant velocity in the direction as it approaches the learner, which means that the learner will hear more compressed waves over here and will therefore hear a higher frequency, something like 1200 hertz, for example, because the wavelengths between the sound gets more compressed as it approaches the learner and because the car is moving in the direction towards the learner. Okay, therefore the learner hears a higher frequency than the sound actually emitted by the hooter, and that is why C is our correct answer over there. D is also not correct because both the wavelength and the frequency of the sound heard by the learner are lower, and that is in the opposite direction entirely, so that won't be true. Cool, and that would earn us 2 marks over there. And then 1.7 over here says 2 small spheres, each with a net charge of negative q, as we can see over here, and over here exert a force of magnitude F on one another. So the same force, the magnitude F on one another. One of the charges is now replaced by another with a charge of minus 4q. So we are changing this guy to minus 4q over there. In the process, the distance, this radius over here, between the two objects is doubled. So it was r, but now it is 2r. The force that one charge now exerts on the other charge is A, B, C, or D, different variations of F, the initial force we had. Our answer is A over here. The force is exactly the same, and we're about to see why. Because we have F equals K, our constant, which is unimportant for these sorts of questions, multiplied by Q1, multiplied by Q2 over the r squared. Because k is a constant, it's like we treat it as if it's 1, the value 1 over here, so we can just leave it out. But what we have is negative q multiplied by negative 4q, because we had changed the charge of the 1q from negative q to negative 4q over there. And then what we've done is we have doubled the distance over there, which means this used to represent 1r, but now it represents 2r over here. So if we plug in 2r over here, and this is still squared because that is a part of our formula, we are trying to see what value of f we get over here, because a negative times a negative is positive, and then 4 times 1 is 4, and q times q is q squared. So we have 4q squared over here, and at the bottom we have 2 squared, which is 4 as well, and r squared as well. What happens is the 4 and the 4 simplify, and we end up with q squared over r squared. And that is exactly the same as the original, because the original was negative q multiplied by negative q over r squared. And this represented f, as we established, or as they told us, which means negative times negative is positive, q times q becomes q squared, and then at the bottom r squared is also there, which means that f represented q squared over r squared. And in this scenario, we resolved this second variation after we made the changes over here and over here with the value of the charge and the distance between them, and we can see that f equals q squared over r squared here as well, which means that the force hasn't changed into one of these other variations. It has simplified the exact same based on the change we made at the top over here and the bottom over there, which means A is our final answer, and that would earn us 2 marks over there. Question 1.8 says a battery with an EMF E over here and internal resistance R, as we can see over here, so E is over here, R is over here, is connected to a switch S over here and 2 identical resistors. So we got R over here and R over here, as shown in the sketch below. Each resistor has a resistance of R, as they said. So it says, which of the following statements is correct when switch S is actually closed? So we have 4 different options over here. We will read these ones. And it says A, the voltmeter reading is E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the 2 resistors. Okay. B says the voltmeter reading is less than E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the battery. C says the voltmeter reading is half E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the 2 resistors. And then D says the voltmeter reading is E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the battery. So slight differences between the two. We have E, E, half E, and E over there. And then we have across the 2 resistors, the voltmeter, or across the battery, and then the resistors again, and then the battery again. Okay, so I know electric circuits are quite tricky for a lot of my students, and we're just going to break down each question so we can eliminate why it isn't A, C, and D, because our final answer is in fact B over here. So the reason it is not A is because the voltmeter reading is E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the 2 resistors. So because we have internal resistance, if we were to connect a voltmeter over the 2 resistors here, we would always have less voltage to the external circuit because of the internal resistance, because of this formula over here. Our EMF equals IR plus I little r. The I multiplied by R is the V external, the amount of voltage we get out to the whole battery, and here our I times little r, our internal resistance, is our V lost. Say now our EMF is 12 volts over here, and we have our voltmeter in this location over the 2 resistors. It might equal something like 8 volts over there, but then there will be 4 volts lost because we have internal resistance in the battery. A reminder that EMF is the maximum amount of juice that the battery actually has. It is just split in different locations, externally into the circuit and internally over the battery, that is lost due to internal resistance, which means that the voltmeter reading is E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the 2 resistors. The voltmeter being here, it cannot be exactly the same as E over the battery, the actual EMF, because we are losing some volts over here due to internal resistance. Okay, so A is out over there. We're going to look at C next because it has the same location of the voltmeter over the 2 resistors, and we also can't assume this one because we don't know whether it will be exactly half. It's great that it's not exactly the same as E, but they haven't given us any information to assume that we have 6 volts here and 6 volts here, adding up to the 12 volts here, meaning that this would be E over here for the 12, and then this would be the half E over the 2 resistors. We don't quite know that because they haven't given us any voltages or any other ratios to work with. So we can't just assume that, so therefore C is out. And then last one we're going to see is D over here because it is now over the battery, and this is where a voltmeter would be if it is over the battery specifically. And it says the voltmeter reading is E when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the battery. That also isn't true because we are losing volts as we mentioned over here. Therefore, we won't have E over here as the maximum EMF and the same amount of E in our voltmeter over there. The resistance, the internal resistance over here, will decrease the amount of volts we actually get out to the whole cell, and therefore it will be less. So D also does not work. And then we're going to see that the voltmeter reading is less than E, which makes sense when an ideal voltmeter is connected across the battery, which is the slight variation of D. Because we have lost volts, therefore the reading over here might be something like 8 volts, even though we have 12 volts EMF, because we are losing some due to our V lost over here, our I times our little r over there. And that is why B does work for us in this situation and is our final answer for 2 marks. Cool. And then question 1.9 here says, which of the energy conversions below takes place when an AC generator is in operation? So we have 4 options over here. Heat to mechanical does not work. Potential to electrical has to do with chemical cells for chemistry. So we have either B or C. And what we have are the 2 different things for generators and motors. We have our motors over here and our generators over here. Motors are something like your car, for example, which means that what you have is electrical energy converted to mechanical energy. because you're using a battery in your car to get mechanical motion so that your car can move. Generators, on the other hand, are exactly the opposite, because we have something that turns, something that is mechanical and generates some electricity for us, so we can use it when we need electricity, which means that mechanical to electrical is exactly what we want for B over here, because we saw the word generator. Regardless of AC or DC, generators are mechanical to electrical. And then question 1.10 over here, we don't have to do. It also says on the memo that any answer is accepted because they made some errors on the question over here. So it's a little bit outside of our syllabus, so we can ignore that one for this paper. Great job, guys. So that earned us full marks for this section. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.